The NVUSD Board of Education is holding a regular board meeting tonight, and we invite participation either remotely or in person. Directions on how to participate via Zoom are available at nvusd.org/board. The open session part of the meeting will begin at around 7 p.m. B, public comment on closed session items. Before going into closed session, the board is available for public comment on closed session agenda items. Mr. Michaels, do we have any public comment on closed session agenda items?
There is no public comment on closed session items.
Seeing that there are none, the board will now adjourn into closed session. Good evening. My name is Eve Reiser, and this is the Napa Valley Unified School District Board of Education. The NVUSD Board of Education is holding a regular board meeting tonight, and we invite participation either remotely or in person. Directions on how to participate via Zoom are available at nvusd.org/board. Spanish interpretation is available for tonight's virtual board meeting. Our interpreters are Francisco Mesa and Ashley Heil. One of the interpreters will now translate the directions on our English channel so our Spanish-speaking families may hear the instructions.
Sí, muy buenas noches. Para escuchar la interpretación simultánea a español, en un momento aparecerá en la parte baja de la pantalla por Zoom el símbolo del globo terráqueo. Por favor, hagan clic ahí y escoja español y después Done o listo. Si está usando una tableta o teléfono celular en Zoom, busque la palabra More o más, haga clic ahí y bajo Language Interpretation o interpretación de idioma, elija español y finalmente pulse en Done o listo. Gracias. Thank you.
Thank you. Can we please start with an attendance roll call from Vera Morales, Executive Assistant?
Yes. Student Board Member Fish Leader?
Present.
Trustee Reiser?
Present.
Trustee Shu?
Present.
Trustee Jankowicz?
Present.
Trustee Martin?
Present.
Quorum present. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us tonight for our NVUSD board meeting. As we begin our meeting this evening, we would like to begin by sharing both our Napa Valley Unified School District's vision and our mission statements. Our vision: our graduates are confident, compassionate, and adaptable adults who are well prepared for life and become inspiring advocates for themselves and their community. NVUSD's mission: our mission is to prepare each student for a successful future by delivering rigorous and relevant learning experiences that develop their literacy and career-ready skills, cultivate their interests, and build resilience, compassion, and confidence. E1, report on closed session. Trustee Chu, do you have a report on closed session agenda items?
I do. Item D1, student discipline. With respect to every item of business to be discussed in closed session pursuant to Ed Code 35146 and 48912:20, Government Code Section 49060 and 49078, and the Family Rights and Privacy Act, USC Section 1232G, Student Matters. D1A, expulsions. The board recommends the expulsion of student 111320258.
Sorry. So can we have a roll call vote on that? Do we do a roll call vote?
No, we have to move.
Move to
Oh, so I need the
Move to
motion.
expel.
I'm so sorry. Let me get my brain back in my head and start the meeting over again. Yes. We have a first from Trustee Martin, a second from Trustee Jankowicz. All in,
A roll call vote.
we need a roll call vote now, yes.
Yes. Trustee Reiser?
Aye.
Trustee Shu?
Aye.
Trustee Jankowicz?
Aye.
Trustee Martin?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Number 2, the board recommends the expulsion of student 111320225B.
Move to expel.
First from Trustee Martin, a second from Trustee Jankowicz. Another roll call vote, please, Ms. Morales.
Yes. Trustee Reiser?
Aye.
Trustee Shu?
Aye.
Trustee Jankowicz?
Aye.
Trustee Martin?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Item D1B, readmitted expulsions. Number of cases 1. The board recommends for the readmission from expulsion of student 111-42024A.
Move to readmit. Is that what we do? Yeah.
I'll second.
Okay.
We have a first from trustee Martin, a second from trustee Jankowicz. One more roll call vote, please, Ms. Morales.
Trustee Reiser,
Aye.
Trustee Shu,
Aye.
Trustee Jankowicz,
Aye.
Trustee Martin.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you, and that brings us to E2, flag salute. And one of our Napa High students of the month, Yadira Torres, has very kindly agreed to lead us in the flag salute.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all.
Great job. Thanks, Yadira. E3, announcement. This meeting is live streamed and recorded via Zoom and will be archived on the district YouTube channel. For a detailed review of any meeting agenda item, the archived video can be referenced on the district's webpage at nvusd.org. The process for public comment can also be found on the district's webpage. E4, approval of agenda.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a first from trustee Chu, a second from trustee Martin. All in favor? Aye. Oppose? Abstain? Motion passes. And we have E5, approval of minutes. E5A, the minutes from October 23rd, 2025.
Move to approve.
Second.
First from trustee Chu, a second from trustee Martin. All in favor? Aye. Oppose? Abstain? Motion passes. And E6, recognition of visitors and employee organizations. Dr. Massetti, do we have visitors in attendance today?
We do not this evening.
Okay, thank you. That brings us to F, recognition of students of the month. F1, American Canyon High School. Will Assistant Principal Campoy please present the students of the month?
Good evening. I'm so honored that I get to be here for Principal Hatton. Our first student of the month is Andre Lopez. He's the student of the month for November. This was primarily written by some of his teachers and his coaches. Andre Lopez has been a standout on the athletic field and leads by example. He excels in both football and baseball, earning all league honors in both sports. His teachers and coaches say that he demonstrates humility and seeks to help his peers and teammates, always with an uplifting smile. In his interview with the Times-Herald for Athlete of the Week, Andre's team's first mentality showed up in the way he spoke about the whole team, and especially the offensive line. When you see Andre on campus, you don't just see the 2024 Offensive Player of the Year, VVAL, an athlete with over 3,000 career rushing yards and 40 career touchdowns, but also someone who excels in his classes, carries a 4.38 GPA, and who is well known by teachers for his incredible work ethic in the classroom. Andre is a model ACHS Wolf. And I believe he's prepared a video for us because he's preparing for the football game on Friday. And then we also have our December, oh, are we gonna watch the video? Yeah. Okay.
Hello everybody, my name is Andre Lopez. I am a senior at American Canyon High School. I want to thank Ms. Hatton again for nominating me to be Student of the Month. It really is a blessing and an honor to be able to talk to you guys. Unfortunately, I cannot make it as I do have practice. We have a big playoff game. It's against Cal, and we, since it's a tough game, we need all the numbers we could get. So unfortunately, I cannot make it. Some things about me, you know, I am a football and baseball team captain. I won all league in both, won some team awards, and most notably won Offensive Player of the Year for the league last year in football. I played running back, so, you know, it's very tough getting hit over and over again, but taught to get back up. Throughout high school, I maintained a 4.3 GPA. I got to give that one up to my parents. They always taught me to keep a high standard of myself, and keeping a high standard of myself, it really taught me to go 100% in everything I do. some plans I have after high school is to attend a 4-year university in engineering. I've been good at math. I loved it since I was a kid, so I feel like, engineering is the way to go. I also have the option to go play Division III football. It's definitely a great option, and it's college, so I definitely want to keep my options open. For my message to you guys, I just want to say, rely on God's timing. There's plenty of instances where I had to take a step back and really see what He has for me, what He wants me to do in life. And, relying on God's timing, it never fails. So I want to thank you guys again, and thank you, Ms. Hatton, again, for me for this opportunity. Go Wolves.
All right, and then our second student of the month for December, she's here. This was primarily written by one of her teachers, Ms. Olson. So Ana Celia Vasquez transferred to us last year, but ACHS was actually her third high school in so many years. As a new wolf, she initially struggled with structure, rigor, and trust on our campus. She carried her backpack on her body at all times for the last year because at her previous schools, leaving her backpack unattended would mean part or all of her things could be stolen. But she is now excelling in class, confident, and helping others. She has recovered credits she missed those first 2 years and is a semester away from graduating and heading to community college to learn to be an ultrasound tech. Ana Celia is a model of determination and drive and shows incredible resiliency and willingness to grow as a student and a human. ACHS is so proud of her leading by example for others. Ana Celia represents the strength of an ACHS wolf. Yep, she's here. Come on.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ana Celia Vasquez, and I am a senior attending ACHS. I recently moved to American Canyon last year, and I was previously attending Pittsburgh. Oh,
Should we restart? Yeah, just kind of speak into it a little.
Should I restart? Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Ana Celia Vasquez, and I am a senior attending ACHS. I recently moved to American Canyon last year, and I was previously attending Pittsburgh and Antioch High School. During my time out there, I was failing and losing my motivation for school. But since moving, I have met the most supportive teachers and staff members who have pushed me to do better, specifically Miss Olson. She has shown me nothing but kindness. Thank you for nominating me, Miss Olson. My biggest achievements have been going from F's to A's and B's, and what I will be doing after high school is ultrasound technician. Thank you for letting me express my gratitude for the opportunity to participate in Student of the Month. Thank you.
Okay, now we will hear from Principal Ainsworth and the Napa High Students of the Month.
So thank you for having us again. Today's actually one of those days that you live for as a principal. I started my day actually started after school with our first freshman basketball scrimmage, which then rolled right into one of the funnest events of the year, which was our AVID Senior College Application Submission tonight. So we had 34 AVID seniors hit submit on college applications tonight, which is it's one of those things as parents we all know is like the greatest feeling ever. And then I get to end my evening here. So celebrating some really incredible students. So first up is Carla Santos. She has an amazing story. She entered Napa High as a freshman as an ELD 3 student and is leaving as a high-performing academic student with some really amazing aspirations that I'll let her tell you about. She's involved in a lot of things. She's a leader. She's a tutor. She's in our dance program. She's in our band program. Ms. Munguia describes her as a star in the world language department, and she's fluent in 3 languages now, English, Spanish, and French. I introduce you to Carla Santos.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Carla Naomi Santos Hernandez, and my parents are Johanna Hernandez and Carlos Santos. Thank you for the school board to consider me and giving the chance to be here tonight with you guys. I start a student in Silverado Middle School, in 1 year also in Redwood Middle School, and I'm very proud to be here in Napa High. When I first came to Napa, I didn't know any English. I started from 0. But now things have been changed. So, starting as from ELD, and now I move like a lot. Thank all for my teachers, all my friends. They support me with everything. I'm very proud for how far I come here, and I'm here tonight with you guys too. For all the opportunities I've been have. One of my favorite classes was ELD with Mrs. Calderon, because she showed me learning other languages how it can open many doors in different ways. Later, I joined ELD Lab, which helped me grow in academic and belief that anything can be possible with effort. When I was in 10th grade, I started learning French. French 1. And my teacher, Madame Munguia, she inspired me to keep going. This was a new door that have many opportunities in life. Speak another language with other people, different experience, different opportunities. And then last summer, I took summer in the summer last one, in BYU, which is, I got an A. The University, Idaho. Now I'm in French for honors. Also, I'm the president of the French club. Very proud of that. How I can express myself in 3 different languages by being trilingual. For my community, I created a mural in Napa High. It has a vocabulary learning is somewhat of AVID. It's in Spanish, English, and French. I'm very happy how people stop in the hallway and then they can learn something new and then just keep passing and they smile. They thank me all the time, but I'm very happy to make this for my community. After high school, I want to go to UC Davis because I want to be a veterinary. I want to help people. I want to help animals. I love that. It's my dream since I was a child. Now, if they don't accept me, I would go to Santa Rosa Junior College and then I would transfer. So, being part of marching band and being as a TA of biology and friendship has been having many opportunities to talk to people, to stress, to show people what I know for giving some details and other stuff. Believing in myself has been changed me a lot. And now I'm here, very proud of where I'm from. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening.
So next up, we have Yadira Torres. She's pretty much involved in everything. I could go on and we'd still be here an hour later with all the things she just does. And it's just out of just sheer curiosity and interest. But she's in cross country, she's in dance 3, she does chamber choir, she does vocal music workshop. But most importantly, she's one of those people when she walks into a room, the whole room lights up. And you'll see that tonight as she comes up and shares her story and her involvement at Napa High. But you rarely see her without a smile. And it's infectious, and she walks into the office and everybody's day brightens because she's there. So it is my joy to introduce to you Yadira Torres.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Yadira Torres. Thank you so much for this incredible opportunity. I want to express my deepest gratitude to my parents and brother who have always supported my crazy activities. I love you all very deeply and appreciate everything you do. And to the school board, thank you for allowing students like me to be creative and follow our passions. We are here because of you. My journey through NVUSD has been quite a ride. I started at Snow Elementary, then Harvest Middle School, where I had the honor of giving the last graduating speech and awarded the Principal Award, much like this one, before the school closed. And now I am a senior at Napa High. I've gotten to where I am now through dedication and drive to make most of every opportunity. You may wonder, when did this girl sleep? I don't. I am a part of Vocal Music Workshop, a 15-person a cappella group, and the highest choir level at Napa High, Chamber Choir. I am also a new emerging artist at Amplify and hopes to release my new first album and following my dreams in the music industry. I am also part of the dance department here at Napa High, such as Jazz 3 and a Jazz 1 dance officer, where I have the greatest honor of teaching young dancers. I just finished my second season of cross country, and I am also the president of Mock Trial, which I recently reopened after it had been closed for a couple of years. Outside of school, I volunteer every Sunday as an altar server at St. Thomas Church. I also embrace any opportunity, such as gigs with choir or Amplify, competitions like Napa Idol, where I won second place, and community service events like Kaiser Marathon and the Napa Mock Trial cases downtown. After high school, I plan to go to a 4-year UC, but I trust that God will guide me to the best path. I plan to study criminal justice while still pursuing my passion for music and building my career as an artist. What I am most proud of about my time here at Napa High is the impact I've been able to make, whether that's through friendship, academics, meetings, musical and performances, or dance. I'm proud that my name has brought good feedback and positive emotions to others, which is my sole purpose, to make others happy with what makes me the happiest. Thank you.
Okay, that was so wonderful. It's always the most inspiring part of the meeting. So congratulations again to our Students of the Month for American Canyon, Andre and Anacelia, and from Napa High, Carla and Yadira. Thank you so much for joining us. If you'd like to, one more round of applause for everyone. Thank you. And you are certainly welcome to stay for the meeting, but you're also welcome to excuse yourself to enjoy the rest of your evening elsewhere. No, not you, Jankwitz, sorry. Okay, as they make their way out of the boardroom, we'll move on to G, public comment on non-agenda items. Trustee Chu, do we receive any public comment on non-agenda items via email?
No public comments on non-agenda items were submitted via email at publiccomment@nvusd.org before 8 a.m. this morning.
Thank you. Before I open the floor to public comment on non-agenda items, I'd like to explain the rules that govern this area of the meeting. The Brown Act open meeting laws under which we are required to operate prohibit board members from discussing items that you may bring up that are not on our current agenda. The reason for this legal restriction is to make sure that anyone who has an interest in a particular district business matter knows through the board's posted agenda when we will be discussing it as a board, so that they can also be present and provide input on the item. We're very happy to have people here to let us know your concerns. Please know that while we cannot discuss items that are not on the agenda, we are listening to your voices, and we expect and know that our staff will follow up with us on issues raised by members of our community. Relevant to the remainder of the board agenda, please understand that the board listens and considers public comment on the agendized items during our meeting. However, public comment is not intended to be a two-way dialogue between the public and board members and/or staff. And therefore, trustees will not respond to individual comments. This is in accordance with our meeting procedures. We invite members of the public to provide input via public comment per our board bylaw 9323 regarding meeting agenda items. We welcome and appreciate the public's engagement and input. In sum, please know that your voice matters and makes a difference. Your public comment on agendized items might be referenced during our discussions and will be considered as we make decisions regarding agendized items. And is there any, I guess I need to ask if there's any public comment on non-agenda items online as well, Mr. Michaels?
There's no online public comment for non-agenda items.
Okay, thank you very much. So that brings us to H, reports, the board, H1, Board of Education and Student Board Representative. Student Board Member Fish Leader, would you like to kick us off?
I'm glad to kick us off. Congratulations to the Student of the Month again. It was great to hear from them. On October 29th, I ran for Napa's hosted cross-country meet down at Kennedy Park. It was in the golf course, and it was great to see there's a lot of middle schoolers, and it's incredible how fast they are. Like, we'd have to run from golf course to cheer them on, and I couldn't run them, and I was running. So it was great to see that. On November 4th, I'm a part of Mentis. We had a Mentis meeting. There's a fall cooking class. I wish I had the date. I can't, it's not off the top of my head. On November 12th, which was yesterday, STARS hosted one of their college networking programs. This was with the head of admissions of Notre Dame, and I wanted to go really badly, but I had a student advisory council meeting the same day, which was right next door, so I couldn't go, but I heard it was amazing, and I heard Kelly Watkins through an amazing program. Like I said, simultaneously, I was at the student council meeting. I believe Ms. Page was there, so it was great to see her, and we were kind of like working in action. And it's great to see the middle schoolers. It's weird to see kind of the difference of what high schoolers and middle schoolers want, but it's great to hear from them and what they're doing and what the graduate portrait's doing for them. That same day, I was a part of Vintage's Student Voice program, so I get to obviously be here and talk to you guys, but I get to kind of hear what's going on at Vintage and the concerns going there. And I worked with Principal Hutchinson to kind of what the students are wanting and what the students are hoping for. And one of the main things was campus renovations, and I just wanted to tell them, like, it's coming, but I couldn't. I let her do that. And I know the seniors are a little bit frustrated because they got the news that painting and HVAC is going to be there, and we were all yelling at our principal because we aren't going to be able to have that next year. And I'm yelling at her now, but it was great to hear that. And then lastly, which was today, I had the Vintage Site Council meeting. So it's 2 students, 2 parents, 2 teachers, and then a few staff. And it was just going over some of the events and kind of what we're going on at the school. But I got to see some of the documents and what's going on behind the scenes as a student. And it's great to see that. That includes my report. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. Trustee Martin.
Well, Vera Morales and I worked really, really hard to try to do it so I could report that I had visited all 26 campuses by this meeting. Unfortunately, I fell short. I've only visited 25. So there was one of the principals had a family emergency and had to cancel last minute. So that's fine. I've been to that campus before. It's beautiful. I look forward to visiting it maybe next year. So between that and completing MIG in my first 6 months as a trustee, I feel good. Yeah, that concludes my report.
Thank you so much, and congratulations on all that in your first 6 months. It's really
Truly,
amazing.
congratulations. You've been very busy.
Trustee Jankowicz.
It's been a community-driven few weeks for me. I had numerous calls with trustees from Santa Rosa, Sonoma, and also Fairfield Sassoon. I would just like to say that having these conversations give me great insight to the different approaches used by districts and superintendents in governance, budgetary management and oversight, avoiding long-term obligations with one-time funds and facilities, or actually exercising long-term obligations with one-time funds and facilities management. Boards are tasked with one job, which is oversight, and how boards define that are very varied, and this is a consistent and prevalent issue. I continue to learn a lot. I spoke with Vichy parents regarding facilities. I had numerous CSBA calls regarding statewide student achievement efforts, legislative issues, and the upcoming AEC meeting. I watched the State Board of Education meeting, which I'll let Dr. Massetti address. I attended the Napa Valley Community Foundation Common Ground conversation, which centered on local democracy. I did some gratitude work on behalf of Measure B. I watched, did not attend, the ACMS celebration and field day. I wasn't able to actually be there, but what a privilege it is to be able to see it live stream. Thank you, Assistant Superintendent Manguala. NVUSD made the decision to share these events and make them accessible to a wider community, and it's fantastic, and I've utilized it a few times. It's great, so thank you. And that concludes my report.
Thanks so much. Trustee Chu?
Yes, so since the 23rd of October, I attended the California Collaborative convening on the school board panel discussing governance along with trustees Water and Riser. That same day, I had an ACMS student-led conference with my son and his advisory teacher, so I think that's actually my last one, which is a little sad because he's going off to high school next year. No, this is at the middle school. Yes, my middle schooler. No, that's too fast. Yes, I'll get to that too. Yes, not so fast though. And then on November 3rd, I had a meeting with Valerie Zizek-Moret, who is the president of American Canyon Chamber of Commerce, and along with Beth Goff, one of a beloved retired ACHS teachers, and NCOE Board of Education trustee Cindy Biederman. We discussed the Chamber's new nonprofit, actually, that is an extension of their work on kids' commerce, and they are bringing some real innovative partnerships with the economics teachers at the high school and introducing what it means to run a business for all of the econ students. So that was great, and they're working with all the other schools in American Canyon also to just understand what their needs are and how can businesses help. So very grateful for that partnership down in American Canyon. On the 8th, along with Trustee Riser and Trustee Hart and Trustee Hart? Yeah. Yes. And Superintendent Dr. Musetti, I attended the American Canyon Band Reserve. In the morning, I actually was at the parade, which was, oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, she was going to be there, yes. Yeah, so the parade is the morning competition, and then in the afternoon, they had a field competition. And although ACHS did not get to compete because we're the host school, they did a fabulous job in their rendition of Through the Looking Glass, yes. And I think Trustee Water would have really appreciated seeing that. And I do want to wish them luck, as this Saturday they are competing at a neighboring school. On the 10th, this Monday, I attended the school board deep dive learning session and visited Napa Junction. Thank you, Principal De La Mater, for hosting us and making us, understand what actually the science of reading looks like in the classroom. And thank you for all the teachers who allowed us into the classroom, and the students who were very gracious and really, really well-spoken in telling us what exactly they were doing at whatever lesson they were working on at that time. On the 12th, this week, of course, we celebrated the ACMS track and field ribbon cutting. Actually, it was more of a running through the ribbon. Yes, it was a ribbon running. I really enjoyed the fact that it was student leadership organized. Not only did they have the cross-country team cut the ribbon, but there was a very charismatic ASB president who led the chant of Wildcats with the attendees. So really, of course, looking for, I know that student is in 8th grade, so I'm really looking forward to what that student might be doing at ACHS next year. And then in the afternoon, I attended the Board of Education President check-in along with Trustee Reiser. And then this is the last part, which is kind of sad, and I know student board member Fish Leader is probably looking forward to this, but I had to order the cap and gown for my senior. And that was like, oh my gosh, it's actually happening. It's real. So yeah, that was my first shock of the senior year for my son, but I am very happy that I think all of our seniors are almost there. I'm not going to say they're there because that means we're in June, but they're almost there. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Trustee Chu. Let's see, on October 29th and 30th, I attended actually the full 2 days of the California Collaborative on District Reform, which was hosted by NVUSD. Thanks to Dr. Massetti for bringing that another opportunity to our district to be able to showcase our work in service to sort of thought partnership with other education leaders, superintendents, labor leaders, nonprofit leaders. It was really a fascinating conversation to be a part of and to witness. And in part of that included me participating along with fellow trustees on a panel around the way that we as a governance team utilize data in our decision making. So hopefully that was helpful for the attendees. It was certainly enjoyable on our part. On November 8th, I attended the AC Band Reserve Field Competition. The ACHS Wolves were amazing. And while tradition dictates that the host teams are not allowed to be awarded within the competition that they are hosting, we did hear from longtime band booster Steve Green that had their scores counted, they would have swept many categories. So good luck to them on their final competition of the season. And that was just a treat to see. It's always amazing to see, in whatever the context is, to see the kids with their tribe. They found their niche, they found their passion, and they're doing it with such joy and enthusiasm. And, judging by their performance, the commitment to practice must be intense because they are in very, very sharp, intricate formations while playing instruments and catching things they throw in the air. It's amazing. November 10th, I also, along with Trustee Chu, as she mentioned, took part in the second round of board visits to Napa Junction to do the deep dive on our letters training in the science of reading and as it manifests in implementation in our classrooms. Napa Junction is just a stellar example of this really focused instructional work in action. The high-impact instructional strategies that we saw were really impressive. As Trustee Chu said, the students were so comfortable in their learning and well-versed in what they were doing. The rigor was really apparent. In particular, there was a writing activity with the 5th graders. We were witnessing them doing sort of a culminating writing planning part, and just the rigor of the vocabulary that they were using and the concepts. And I was very impressed. And again, thank you so much to Principal De La Mater for welcoming us and allowing us to see that. And also on November 12th, so that was just yesterday, the ACMS celebration of the facilities improvements there. There's the invisible work that has such important impact, the new HVAC and roofing. But of course, as Dr. Massetti called it, the very photogenic feature of the new track and field, which just glowed technicolor and were so beautifully unmarred and springy and spongy to walk on. And it was really just exciting and made me feel very proud of the AC community and thankful to them for passing Measure A2 and just amazing to see it come to life. And during the ceremony behind us, as we were, speaking and acknowledging the people there and talking about Measure A2, the PE class was behind doing their PE stations on the field. So it was cool to see it utilized while we were there, right before our eyes. Yesterday, then later on yesterday, I had my final as president, or penultimate maybe, board check-in for planning for the board meeting, and Trustee Chu attended because we are preparing for her to transition into this seat and take her turn leading this amazing board. Earlier this afternoon, the final thing on my report is I had a second session planning and practicing for our upcoming panel presentation that'll be at the CSBA Annual Education Conference, along with Dr. Massetti and our partner from Prospect Studios. We're presenting around the process of our strategic visioning, the year-long process, community involvement, and the amazing result that it rendered for us. So we're looking forward to sharing that at the conference, and this concludes my report. Oh, thank you I don't know why I turned that off, because I'm still talking. Now that brings us to H2C, which is the H2 Board Representative Reports, H2A, the Special Education Community Advisory Committee. Trustee Hart is the member, and she's absent. I don't know that they've met or not since the last meeting. H2B, the City of American Canyon liaison.
We have not met.
You have not met. And the city, H2C, the City of Napa.
We're meeting next Thursday.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you for that. And then that brings us to H3, Superintendent and Executive Staff.
Thank you so much, President Reiser. So good evening, NVUSD trustees, staff, and community. Since our last meeting, I've had the privilege of deeply engaging in two of our NVUSD core values. First, an unwavering commitment to excellence, and then secondly, partnerships and collaboration. It has been a busy, inspiring, and incredibly rewarding couple of weeks. So you heard from a couple of our board members about the California Collaborative for District Reform. I'll go into detail around that convening because it truly was an honor to host educational leaders, policymakers, philanthropists from across the state here in our own boardroom. So 2 weeks ago, our boardroom was filled with leaders from across California participating in the California Collaborative for District Reform. This statewide collaborative brings together superintendents, their district leadership teams, union leaders, policymakers, philanthropists, researchers, and we even had a representative from the State Board of Education to study district improvement efforts and share lessons learned. We were truly honored for NVUSD to serve as the host district for what was the 56th convening of the collaborative here in the state of California. Our team shared our improvement journey and highlighted how NVUSD's progress is grounded in stable finances, effective governance, strong labor management, collaboration, all hallmarks of a healthy and high-performing system. A central component of the convening was focused on learning directly from our principals and teachers, which was fantastic. Our principals and teacher leaders shared how the high-impact instructional team and the data dialogue processes that we launched this past year are building coherence, reflection, and data-informed decision-making across the district. I want to give a shout out to all of the participants because they did step away from their busy days at school to join us during the convening. So special thanks to Principal Sally Zickman from Vichy, Ted Ward from Alta Heights, Helen Roca from Puebla Vista, Peter Hartnick from Redwood, and Jessica Hutchinson from Vintage High School. And then I want to thank Executive Director Matt Manning for facilitating some of these dialogues. Our high-impact instructional team teachers, Jonah Sandow from Donaldson Way, Yara Abad from Puebla Vista, Katie Bell from McPherson, Karen Blackwood from Silverado Middle School, and Emily Bristow from Vintage High School. They were really exceptional in demonstrating how teacher collaboration drives instructional excellence while strengthening trust and shared ownership of results. And I want to thank Dr. Reddy for facilitating that meaningful panel discussion. Assistant Superintendent Dana Page and NVEA President Deb St. Clair did an excellent job of presenting on interest-based problem solving, our unique and positive approach to labor relations. I want to thank them for their contribution. And then, of course, as was mentioned, our board trustees, President Reiser, Vice President Trustee Chu, and Trustee Water, they really did an outstanding job representing NVUSD's Board of Education in a panel discussion about how effective governance is essential to ensuring fiscal stability, instructional improvement, and student success. And Trustee Jankwitz, it's great to hear as you work in your CSBA director role and engage with districts across the region that you're learning how invaluable that is as you know, we get to feature all of that positive work here that happens at the dais and all the work that you do in between board meetings as a school board. So thank you so much. In fact, it was so successful. I think I heard one of the participants at the convening actually stated in the boardroom that Trustee Cindy Water should run for governor. So she was a real hit. Finally, I just want to close out this segment of my report with a huge thank you to Julie Bordez, Dr. Peter Aboud, and Dr. Monica Reddy. They worked alongside me since August. So to plan these days took several meetings over the course of the last 3 months. And so I want to thank them because it was a lot of work on top of the regular work that we do, but hopefully they'll feel that it was a worthwhile experience. I also want to acknowledge Nikki O'Hara Ashir, who's here in the boardroom with us almost every board meeting, for her technology support. She was fantastic over the course of the 2 days and made sure that we had all of our technology needs met. And I think everybody in the room was impressed with our standard around technology. And I want to take a moment to thank Cindy Gonzalez, our custodian here at the Ed Center, for ensuring that the facility that we were hosting all of these statewide leaders, we were just ready to host so many guests, and the Ed Center did shine over the course of the last 2 days. So I want to thank her for making sure that the facility was ready for that. The California Collaborative on District Reform's next step will be producing a statewide publication documenting NVUSD's improvement journey and all of the learning that took place over the course of those 2 days, which is going to be a point of great pride for our district. So thank you so much for everyone's contributions, and I look forward to sharing the report. On to my second item around partnership and collaboration and our unwavering commitment to excellence. Immediately following the convening, a couple days later, I guess not immediately, but a couple days later, I traveled to New York City for the College Board Forum 2025, where I worked with national partners connected to the STARS College Network. This effort connects NVUSD to universities across the country and advances Strategy 2 of our strategic plan focused on college and career readiness. I met with college admissions leaders and presented alongside the STARS College Network Executive Director, sharing how NVUSD's launch of this partnership is already transforming opportunities for our small town, rural students here in the NVUSD community through pre-college programs, college fly-ins, individualized counseling for our current seniors, and expanded college admissions access. And I do love that you highlighted that Mickey Kidder, who is the Dean of Admissions for the University of Notre Dame. I was with her in New York City. This is just the power of the network, and had a conversation with her, and she left New York and headed to California and wanted to come and meet with NVUSD students to try and catch them in this college admissions season to make sure that they considered the University of Notre Dame. And so contacted Kelly Watkins over the weekend, and she put it together, and she had 16 students attend this intimate college admissions network session with the Dean of Admissions for an elite private institution. And she reported to me that the majority of those students have decided to put University of Notre Dame on their application list, and she's going to help facilitate that. So that's fantastic. So I just want to thank everybody around that partnership and all the work that continues to be invested in that, in those efforts. The local highlights: upon returning home from New York, I did have the pleasure of attending 2 incredible local events in American Canyon, always wowed by the sense of community there in American Canyon. And so I was at the band reserve as well, and you heard all about that. Just another reminder of the exceptional arts and music programming in our district. So I'm grateful that we're continuing to fund that, sustain that at a time when many, many districts are having to look at cuts and reductions of all of their enrichment programs as they navigate fiscal uncertainty. And then the Measure A2 track and field ribbon cutting at American Canyon Middle School that Trustees Hart, Reiser, and Chu attended. It was just great to celebrate another milestone in our commitment to modernizing facilities and creating spaces where students can thrive. President Reiser and Trustee Chu did an extraordinary job of describing the event and the experience, but I think a video would do a really good job of capturing the experience. So I'm going to close my report tonight with a short video that beautifully captured the energy and pride of the ACMS ribbon cutting event. So let's roll the video, Nikki. And thank you to everyone for your ongoing support and leadership as we continue to build a district defined by excellence, equity, and partnership.
Thanks to the passage of the A2 bond in 2022, our campus has benefited from vital upgrades such as new roofs, HVAC systems, which have been extremely needed and appreciated by our students and staff. And most exciting of all, we are standing at the most visible addition right here, the amazing new track and field.
It's amazing to see how far we've come in just 3 years. We're nearing completion on bond projects that have touched almost every school in the city of American Canyon. Just look around, our students are connecting, they're exercising, they're building leadership skills, and they're doing it all safely and with pride in their school. This beautiful new space brings us all together, and I think it's safe to say that it makes us all really proud Wildcats.
We want to thank everyone who made this possible. Our school district, the construction crew, our teachers, our administrators, and most of all, the community who worked hard to bring this dream to life.
Outdoor spaces where students can enjoy physical activity, mental stimulation, fun, and learning will help us advance this hope for improved health and wellness for all students.
As a resident American Canyon Middle and High School parent and NVUSD trustee, I see firsthand what a crucial resource this track and field is for our school community. We want our students outside, interacting with each other, owning their wellness journey, and feeling safe and supported. All the upgrades here at ACMS have done that.
And that concludes my report for this evening. So I'll turn it over to the assistant superintendents who will report out on the work happening in their respective areas. And we'll start with Assistant Superintendent Dana Page, who oversees the Human Resources Division.
Good evening, President Reiser, Board of Trustees, Student Board Representative Fish Leader, and Dr. Massetti. Tonight, I am happy to share my role in supporting Strategy 5, building and promoting equitable access to health and wellness for students, staff, and families. On Monday, November 10th, I facilitated the fourth of 5 interest-based problem-solving sessions with a committee of about 20 NVUSD staff members whose work relates to health and wellness for students. Together, we are drafting a framework to guide planning for services that address students' physical, mental, social, and emotional well-being. And yesterday, as Student Board Representative Fish Leader shared, I also met with the Student Advisory Group to gather their input on what types of wellness services they believe are most important and where they would be most likely to seek them, whether at school, at home, from non-NVUSD professionals, or elsewhere. Their insights will be shared with the committee and will play a key role in shaping our recommendations for the services to include in our final framework. In support of staff wellness and safety, District and HR leadership met with our risk management partners at North Bay School Insurance Authority to review our risk report card. We received feedback on both the frequency and severity of our workers' compensation claims, along with analysis of the underlying causes. We do the same for property and liability claims. There's a common misconception that school districts have traditional insurance companies that pay for these claims. In reality, for decades, school districts and county offices of education have operated shared risk pools to manage and pay claims, and North Bay is one of these cooperative pools. Together, we manage risk, set rates for member districts, and pay claims. When we work together and implement strong safety practices, our district's general funds save money. We not only analyze the data to track our progress, but also review best practices and programs that can help reduce injuries, illnesses, and overall risk. I'm pleased to report that NVUSD has successfully implemented key safety programs such as Shoes for Crews, ergonomic evaluations, and risk boot camps for managers, which has helped to lower our costs and allow us to redirect more funds back into the classroom. And thank you. This concludes my report.
Thank you so much, Ms. Page. Next, we'll hear from Dr. Monica Reddy, who oversees the Instructional Support Services Division.
Good evening, President Reiser, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Dr. Massetti, Student Board Member, Fish Leader, and NVUSD community. As we move deeper into the school year, our district and schools continue to advance key instructional and family engagement initiatives aligned to our strategic plan. The Multi-Tiered System of Support, or MTSS pilot team, representing 10 schools, their principals, and cross-functional school site teams, has been actively engaged in learning the platform, EduClimbers platform core features. The team began with an intensive study of the data tools and is now exploring MTSS components, including smart forms and early warning indicators. Training coupled with pilot MTSS meetings is helping schools develop a more holistic and inclusive approach to MTSS that will support more intentional and responsive interventions for students. Thank you to the 10 pilot schools, as well as Director Liz Seabury and Dr. Peter Bood for their leadership, enthusiasm, and commitment to this important work. As we build strong systems of prevention and intervention for all students, we are also elevating the expertise and leadership of those who serve our multilingual learners. I'm proud to share that Executive Director Matt Manning and Director Dr. Alejandra Aribe were selected to participate in Cohort 7 of the English Learner Leadership and Legacy Institute, a statewide program of Californians together that now includes more than 450 English learner advocates across California. This past week, they attended the 4-day institute centered on strengthening leadership and advocacy for English learners. Through collaborative learning, they examined EL policy, systems of influence impacting MLLs, and strategies to advance equity through data-informed decision-making. Their participation reinforces NVUSD's commitment to ensuring multilingual learners remain at the center of our equity and continuous improvement efforts. This focus on equity also guides our work with families whose partnership remains essential to student success. Community parent liaisons held their monthly meeting at Cope Family Center, where they learned about the broad range of family support services available to the community. This collaboration strengthens their ability to connect families to valuable resources and ensures that those in need receive timely and effective support. These partnerships remain essential to our district's family engagement strategy and our commitment to meeting the needs of the whole child. I will close this evening with gratitude to our elementary and middle school staff for their engagement during Fall Conference Week. This time reflects the strong partnership between teachers and families and reinforces our shared commitment to student success. We appreciate their preparation, communication, and relationship building that make these conferences meaningful for both students and families. And that concludes my report.
Thank you so much, Dr. Reddy. Next, we have Assistant Superintendent Rob Manguala, who oversees the Business and Operational Services Division.
I have a presentation later tonight, so I will forego my report.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Manguala. That concludes staff reports for the evening, President Reiser.
Thank you so much. That brings us to I, approval of the consent agenda. Background information on these items is provided to the board prior to the meeting. A common motion takes action without discussion on roll call vote unless discussion of items is requested by a board member.
I will move to approve.
Second.
We have a first from Trustee Chu, a second from Trustee Martin. Ms. Morales, may we have a roll call vote, please?
Yes. Trustee Reiser?
Aye.
Trustee Shu?
Aye.
Trustee Jankowicz?
Aye.
Trustee Martin?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That brings us to J, presentations and discussion items. J1, business services. J1A, the 2025 California School Dashboard presentation.
Hello, everyone. Can you all can you all hear me and see my slides?
Yes, we can.
All right. Good evening, President Reiser, trustees, Dr. Musetti, and student board member Fish Leader. Thank you for the opportunity to present to you this evening remotely. This evening, I will present an overview of the California dashboard, which serves as our main accountability structure from the state. The metrics that we'll review are so critical to the development and monitoring of the LCAP, or Local Control Accountability Plan, that we wanted to take some time to share with you the purpose of the dashboard, its measures, and how those measures are calculated. Towards the end of the presentation, Dr. Reddy from the Instructional Services Division will share details on the work she's been leading that has led to the results you will see tonight. The California dashboard has multiple purposes. It provides parents, educators, and community members with meaningful information on school and district progress on a variety of data points, and also meets state and federal accountability requirements. It also allows district leaders to look closely at how certain schools and student groups are performing. And the metrics on the dashboard are all required to be included in the LCAP and drive the development of LCAP goals and spending. Here is a summary of the measures that appear on the California dashboard. There are a number of academic performance indicators, including performance in English language arts, math and science, English learner progress, and college and career readiness. There are 2 academic engagement indicators, chronic absenteeism and the graduation rate. And there is 1 indicator for conditions and climate, and that is the suspension rate. I'll start with explaining the indicators that are a little more straightforward and then move into the ones that require a little more explanation. Chronic absenteeism. This looks at the percentage of students who have missed 10% or more of the school year. The graduation rate looks at the percentage of students graduating with a regular high school diploma. The suspension rate looks at the percentage of students who were suspended 1 or more times within the school year. And the English Learner Progress Indicator looks at the percentage of students who increased at least 1 English Learner Performance Indicator level, or ELPI, from 1 school year to the next. LPAC scores, LPAC, which is the assessment our multilingual learners take, that LPAC is divided into six progress indicator levels, and students have to show an increase of at least 1 level each year. This indicator also includes the percentage of students who maintained a score at the highest possible LPAC performance level. For English language arts and math, this indicator looks at the average student's distance from standard. This is the number of scaled score points on the CASP the average student is short to be considered at the standard met performance level. For example, this shows the scaled score points needed for each performance level by grade for the English CASP. The second to last column on the right indicates the scaled score range for standard met. You can see that a 6th grader needs a scaled score of 2531 to score at this achievement level. So if a 6th grader scores at 2500, for example, they are 31 scaled score points short and have a distance from standard of -31. The indicator on the dashboard looks at the average distance from standard for all students who took the CASP. A new indicator on the dashboard is the Science Performance Indicator. CDE has taken the science scaled score and converted it to a measure called science points, which range from 0 to 100. This indicator looks at the average student's change in these science points. And then the College and Career Readiness Indicator measures the percentage of high school students considered prepared for college and career based on a number of options, including performance on the CASP, passing AP exams, dual enrollment, completion of A through G requirements, completion of CTE courses, etc. And I'll share in detail how students are considered prepared for college or career readiness. They're considered prepared as long as they meet one of these criteria, whether it's the college readiness or the career readiness criteria. And we'll start with the measures for college readiness. So they just need to meet one of these. 1, scoring at standard met or exceeded on both the English and math CASP. 2, taking 2 AP exams and scoring a 3 or higher on both exams. 3, completing 2 semesters of college coursework with a grade of C- or better. Or 4, earning the state seal of biliteracy and a score of standard met or higher on the English CASP test. They can also complete all of the A through G requirements and meet one of the bulleted requirements here, which include earning a score of standard met or higher in either English or math and a performance level of standard nearly met in the other, completing one semester of college credit courses with a grade of C- or better, earning a score of 3 on one AP exam, or completing a CTE pathway. And while students can be considered college and career ready from either the college or career readiness requirements, the majority of students in our district qualify through one of these college readiness requirements. And then these are the career readiness indicators. You'll see a total of 4 options. The first one we offer, the remaining 3 you'll see in that lighter gray color. These are options allowed by the state, but which are not currently available to students within NVUSD at this time. So students can complete a CTE pathway with a grade of C- or better in the capstone course and meet one of the criteria listed here, which include earning a score of standard met or higher in one CASP subject area and a score of standard nearly met in the other, complete one semester of college credit courses outside of the completed CTE pathway with a grade of C- or better. And then the remaining ones are in that lighter gray color. So complete 2 years of leadership military science and receive a score of standard met or higher on the CASP, ELA, or math assessment and a score of standard nearly met on the other. Number 3, complete one or more of the following programs and complete one semester of a CTE course with a C- or better. Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, Job Corps, Youth Build, California Conservation Corps, and Regional Occupational Centers and Programs. And number 4, complete at least 100 hours of work experience and the equivalent of 4 semester courses of college and career exploration and preparation designed to prepare a student with an IEP for employment and independent living. So now that I've explained the indicators, how is performance calculated? For each indicator on the dashboard, the state determines a district or school's performance based on 2 factors, the current year's data and the difference between the current year and the prior year's data as determined by a 5x5 grid, which I'll show you an example of momentarily. So your current data and the increase or decrease from the previous year determines your performance. The nice thing about the system is that it recognizes districts for making progress on indicators even when there are still opportunities for improvement. And the criteria on each of the 5x5 grids vary based on the indicator, and the performance colors will range from red to blue. Red is the lowest performance level and blue is the highest. Here's an example of a 5x5 grid for the suspension indicator. So for example, if a district suspension rate is high, between 4.6 to 8%, but there has been a decline between 0.3 and 1.9 percentage points, the indicator color will be yellow. This recognizes the improvement, even though the suspension rate itself is still high. And here are the results for NVUSD. So here you can see how we're performing as a district in each of the indicators. For English language arts, our distance from standard, the average number of points a student is short from meeting standard, increased by 10.5 points. And in math, it increased by 5.2 points, which is consistent with the CASP growth that I shared at a previous board meeting. The ELA indicator actually improved from orange to yellow this year. And although math improved, it maintained its yellow color from last year. English learner performance progress is in the orange, and the college and career indicator is in the yellow. Here we see that new science indicator, which is in yellow, as is chronic absenteeism. Last year, we saw a substantial decline in chronic absenteeism, which was reduced by 9%. And this year, we saw that decline continue an additional 1.3%. So we continue to trend in the right direction here for this indicator. Our graduation rate and suspension rate are both in the green. And I want to highlight that our suspension rate did switch from yellow to green this year based on that 0.4% decline that you see. And here's a summary of the most noteworthy highlights in our data. We saw those improvements in English and math by the increase in distance from standard of 10.5 and 5.2 points respectively. Our graduation rate was at 92.9%, which is largely consistent with prior years and exceeds the typical state graduation rate, which typically hovers in the mid-80s. Our suspension rate decreased by nearly half a percentage point. We saw the performance color changes for both English language arts and for the suspension rate, which both improved by 1 color band. And although for some indicators the colors remain the same, nearly all indicators demonstrated some form of an incremental improvement, which is always the goal. I would also like to highlight some specific schools data. We had 4 schools which demonstrated tremendous growth on the ELPI, that's the English Learner Progress Indicator, and they are now in the blue performance level, which is that highest level. Napa Junction increased their ELPI by 11.4%, ACMS by 39.6%, Silverado by 17.6%, and ACHS by 28.5%. Nearly all of our high schools demonstrated increases in the graduation rate, and New Tech High's College and Career Indicator increased by 16% this year. And with that, I will invite Dr. Reddy to speak to the work in the Instructional Services Division, which has led to these results.
Thank you, Dr. Abood. The Instructional Support Services team analyzed this data school site by school site and across subgroups. And the following provides a summary of the findings along with the updates on approaches to how we're aligning this work and updates on what the work looks like this year. Next slide, please. It's been a while since I've had to say next slide. Thanks. One key strategy that is our focus is building a culture of student data usage. As we have shared, the implementation of data dialogues, which are data conversations with principals 3 times per year, created a system-wide focus on CASP. Each school site principal was provided clear targets for growth on the CASP ELA and math. The goals were twofold: maintain the percentage of students scoring at or above standard in ELA and math, and move 1/3 of students scoring nearly met to met or above standard. This really put a face to the names of the scores and provided targeted support where principals developed action plans with their teachers, implemented and monitored, and then reported those out. As a result, this increased the importance of STAR reading and math as a progress monitoring tool to track growth and make adjustments at the school, site level, professional learning community level, and classroom level. We are continuing data dialogues in 25-26. This year, we're at an advantage to be able to start in September. A byproduct of this focus is the increased request for data in order to better understand student performance in order to respond within the classroom. Additionally, we're experiencing more openness to data usage in other areas important to the California State Dashboard, including A to G requirements and advanced placement, as well as CTE, as we look to improve in those areas. Next slide, please. Last year, the instructional services team met monthly and provided training to principals, assistant principals, and teacher leaders, as well as our special education staff about guaranteed and viable curriculum. We developed a common language for guaranteed and viable curriculum. Some examples, we define priority standards, proficiency scales, and curricular resources so that we are engaged in conversations at the professional learning level, school site level. We're able to engage with a common language. Professional learning leaders receive training at the secondary level on how to lead grade level and content teams with a focus on data using the 4-4 questions that are listed on the slide. We are also privileged to have these outlined in our NVEA collective bargaining agreement. Math was a key focus at the district and site level. Both elementary teachers and secondary math teachers received coaching on focus planning time using priority standards, proficiency scales, and core curricular resources. Additionally, teachers have access to in-classroom coaching provided by a coach, either a math expert or someone connected to the core curricular resource at the secondary level. This year, PLCs and Guarantee and Viable are still a top priority, as we believe it was one of the key reasons that we made growth. We are more strategically and systematically implementing common assessments this year and supporting principals with progress monitoring through learning sprints at the elementary level and professional learning communities at the secondary level. Next slide, please. NVUSD continues to implement a coherent research-based literacy framework that uses letters, best practices anchored in Scarborough's reading rope, and structured phonics and comprehensive routines to ensure systematic, explicit instruction supported by ongoing coaching and scalable training for all teachers. Additionally, we noticed that school sites that made more growth than others were using what's called the Hodgman method, or what we've spoken about as the writing revolution. This provides explicit sentence-level writing instruction integrated across content areas that teaches students how to craft a clear, connected sentence, use evidence effectively, and strengthen their writing through modeled practice, planning, revision, and grammar taught in context. Students expand from the sentence level all the way to the essay level through this format. This year, LETRS training continues to strengthen district-wide as we deepen our commitment to high-quality literacy instruction. Participants in cohorts 3 through 5 began their first of 4 in-person learning sessions, building foundational knowledge and instructional expertise in the science of reading. Earlier this fall, teachers from previous cohorts participated in LETRS collaborative sessions during an early release Wednesday where they used the self-assessment rubric to identify areas of focus for improving their classroom practice. This reflection and goal-setting process is supporting alignment between professional learning and daily instruction. District academic specialists are meeting twice monthly with principals to provide continued coaching, implementation support, and monitoring of progress throughout the 2-year professional learning cycle. These collaborative meetings ensure that literacy practices are being reinforced through both site-based leadership and classroom application. I have to pause and really give a shout out to Carly and Tracy, our district academic specialists. This work would not be expanding to the level it is without their support and the direction of Matt Manning. The district continues to prioritize sustainability by integrating LETRS strategies into instructional coaching and professional learning communities. We remain incredibly grateful to the teachers who have made the commitment to strengthen literacy practices on behalf of our students. It is no small commitment to go through the training and implement this. This year, we're also continuing to expand professional development to staff on the Writing Revolution. We are evaluating our ability to take this to scale TK-12 like LETRS. The district writing assessment continues for elementary with the expansion of the district writing assessment for 6th through 12th grade, and this will be a good assessment for us to review as we assess our expansion of the Writing Revolution. Next slide, please. Principals' participation in LETRS for Leaders elevated the need to clearly define, implement, and monitor English language development blocks at the elementary level. Data revealed that school sites who implemented strategic and targeted ELD blocks with progress monitoring increased English learner performance indicator at higher levels. At the secondary level, staff implemented the new ELD curricular resources, which provided support with academic and content language in key areas such as science and history, social science in particular. These are often the academic and content language assessed on the LPAC. Additionally, secondary schools engaged in elevation strategies which support integrated ELD and align to the data that students produce. So you can see the data and then choose instructional practices that align to where our English learners are in their development. We are continuing to engage in a focus on designated and integrated approaches mentioned, as well as developing supports for our long-term English learners, including the adoption of a pilot program and additional support classes, because our long-term English language learner data shows that that's an area that we need to focus. Next slide, please. Attendance continues to be a focus at the school sites with additional supports at our community schools. Our attendance strategies combine notifications through mail. Our school attendance review team starts with ongoing monitoring, a collaborative wraparound support system, and staff and student incentives. One addition this year is a district-wide attendance campaign to really improve consistent school attendance. And I had the privilege of seeing McPherson's class a couple weeks ago get their attendance award for the month, and they were, the screams and yells to cheer about their winning attendance was heartwarming. So, next slide, please. That concludes our update analysis of our California dashboard, and I look forward to giving more information when we have our LCAP mid-year update in the middle of the year.
Thank you so much to Dr. Reddy and Dr. Aboud. Comments or questions from trustees? So I will just say on behalf of the board, it's so helpful to have these really very clear and focused explanations. You know, the dashboard, the CASP is the measure that the state uses, and so the dashboard is very public facing, but it is sort of confusing. So I think it's helpful to have this resource, vis-a-vis the recording of our board meeting even, so that people who want explanation and to understand what all those, what the colors mean and what the percentages mean and how it captures the growth and how many spots there are for us to celebrate in that data. And the concept that just shines through over and over again from the instructional division when you give these presentations is the strategic and systematic implementation. And it really shows, and I'm so proud and happy for the instructional division and for all the teachers and site leaders doing such hard work that it's that we're seeing that reflected. We know that that's been ongoing, but to see it reflected in the assessment data and so many causes for celebration. And the other thing that I wrote down was nearly all indicators showed some form of improvement. I mean, that's an incredible win for us. And thank you for your hard and ongoing work, and to your team, Director Manning as well, who's not here tonight, but all of the focused work and intentionality and thoughtfulness, getting all the educators and support staff rowing in the same direction and really digging into the data is rendering great results for us. And thanks again for this report.
And I might add just that it's kind of interesting to hear this presentation, and when you read Vernon Billy's comments on the dashboard, the California dashboard, statewide dashboard, it's nice to have this presentation in contrast to, which goes back to my comments about the work that's being done at NVUSD. So thank you.
And I'll just say one more thing, which is I really appreciated the structure of this presentation, the way that you're linking the results with the initiatives and strategies that you're utilizing in the instructional division. That's really helpful and hopefully helpful for the community to see as well.
And also the deep dives, just one more accolade. And and the deep dives were so helpful, at least from my perspective, to be able to listen to this presentation, make those connections, understand the work, and then to be able to see it live in our students is one of those full circle moments. So anyway, thank you.
I think yes. Okay.
Great work, Dr. Reddy and team. And Mr. Matt Manning is online.
And Dr. Aboud as well, who's up. I could still see him. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. So we have another very celebratory presentation next, J1B, the Measure B Implementation Plan presentation.
Should we wait a moment?
We can wait a moment.
Yeah.
Would like to see some paint, you can come at the end of summer. It will likely be done before you go away.
Oh, I'm excited for that then.
Would you like a 5-minute break? You want to? Okay. All right. Well, thank you for the opportunity to update the board about our Measure B implementation plan. And just as a quick reminder, this is a very beautiful graphical representation of everything that we spoke about prior to the bond, so that there are not any surprises in here. So this is intended to be a fairly quick presentation of everything we spoke about prior to the bond. Next slide. So.
Oh, no, you go ahead.
Okay, you jump in, yeah. We're going to go back and forth. Okay. So just as a quick reminder, the difference between the facilities master plan.
Kelly.
Would you like to cut me off and go? Okay. I have to pretend like I know what I'm talking about, Kelly. The difference between a facilities master plan and an implementation plan. So the facilities master plan is the longer plan. That's where you start to see the really large numbers, right? So those are the numbers where we say we have $500 million worth of need, for example, right? That is not what we're here to talk about tonight. What we're here to talk about tonight is the implementation plan for Measure B. Next slide. And I'll leave this to you, Kelly. I'll let you jump in here.
Perfect, thank you. So as we mentioned, the bond language is very much in alignment with the plan. So we won't read the slides, but just know that we've aligned the bond language with each element of the plan. Exterior campus modernization is something that we're all very familiar with. It started in Measure H and it's continuing on in Measure B. In addition to the roofing, HVAC, and exterior painting, there will also be ad hoc site improvements that are driven by the needs of the campus and what's going on at the site, storm drainage, paving around certain areas and things like that. So that one is something everyone's used to. Next slide. All right, of those sites, we are making huge progress in this area already. You can see the check marks next to all the sites that have had a campus modernization project. And we are well on our way with Napa High, Vintage, and the remainder of the sites. Just a reminder, completed under other funds were Alta Heights, Bel Air, NVLA, and Northwood. There are 2 sites, Valley Oak and West Park, who had work in the very early part of Measure H, so they need slightly less attention than the others. West Park's needs were met during last summer, and then Valley Oak will get addressed in 2026. All right, next slide. There we go. All right, you want to do classroom refresh? Yeah.
This is one of my favorite parts. So interior classroom refresh. So we're excited to be able to get to this once we're done with our exterior campus mod. So again, our goal here is to take care of all the exterior work before moving into interior spaces. The interior spaces will include interior paint, new flooring, new classroom furniture. We're not quite sure exactly yet which sequence we're going to go. People like to ask that question. You starting in elementary, middle, or high, and will you please start with my school? And so we're going to hold that really tight. We'll bring a plan forward. But again, our major goal right now is taking care of the safety issues, making sure all of our buildings are watertight, and when it rains, it doesn't rain in the classroom. And we've done a lot of trip and fall hazard stuff. So we've done a lot of paving. Not in this presentation, but like, for example, NVLA, which just recently paved last week. We also took care of some drainage issues there, some long historic drainage issues where students and families, when they entered the school through the park in the back, they had to walk through water. They literally need to wade through that. And so we're very happy to have been able to address that. Next slide.
So this one's pretty simple. Basically, all of the sites are going to get attention as part of the classroom refresh, with the exception of Alta Heights, because as everyone knows, they were able to be our guinea pigs, and we learned a lot from what happened at Alta Heights, and we're excited to roll it out. Site-specific needs at our 3 recently remodeled schools, our newest high school, New Tech, newest, and then Stonebridge, because of the Waldorf curriculum, what we do on the inside is going to be slightly different than what we would do at other sites, because they have some things that they like to do themselves. All right, next slide. All right, play structures. So we're going to be doing play structures, the associated surfacing underneath, and then ADA upgrades as required by the state architect. All right, so during this process, we discussed a little bit with subcommittee that we had an evaluation of the sites before we began design, so we could understand where the greatest need is. And then we prioritized the sites you see listed here with the yes box on the right. Once those are addressed, because they have both critical and poor needs, then we'll move on to the sites that did not have a critical or a poor rating, budget dependent. So we're committing to the top section, and we'll get to as many of the bottom section as we can. All right, you want to talk about your favorite topic?
Yes. Yeah. Paving the world. And so we are doing lots of paving work. So parking lots are a little bit on the outside of it. So the most important thing we're doing first is we're taking care of paving work on the playgrounds, walking across the school. And so we've had really good luck bidding this out, and we've come across a number of really good vendors, great high quality work, especially when we're doing this outside of the typical summer work. And so summer work, we tend to get higher numbers. There's a lot more demand for contractors. And so what we did this year is towards the end of summer, we bid some work, and we just told the contractor, we'll work with you. Let's get it done, weather dependent. And so we just had our first school done this last week, NBLA. And then the next school for playground is Shear. So excited to work on that too. And this is an example of one of our parking lots. So that's Phillips.
But it's quite indicative of the conditions at most parking lots in the district.
And so this is an area where I would say it's definitely an area of shortfall in the overall budget. So it's at 1.5 million? Yes. Yeah, so this is one of those things where we'll get to as many as we can. Overall in Measure B, again, this would be an example of something that's further from the classroom, not that this isn't important. And so we look to use funds from the sale of property or Fund 40 to kind of address these things. But the parking lot, we're kind of moving a little bit slower because there's more need in this central campus right now. Next slide. So we kind of spoke about this one. Next slide. Track replacement, and so we did take care of our first track replacement, not under Measure B, but we did under A2 in American Canyon. Very excited about the potential of doing this work at our school sites also, but again, this would come after some of the more critical work at the school sites. Next slide. So our planned sites are Napa High School, Redwood, Silverado, and Vintage. So that work is not planned for this summer. It would come some point after that. Next slide.
So we've also included budget for technology in the implementation plan. That includes upgrades to fire alarm systems. So we are working on fire alarm as part of the campus modernization work that we'll do this summer. So that's nice to kind of roll that in with the other elements of the projects. And with public address systems, a lot of that got accomplished through the good work with the technology department and how they leverage their funds with Measure H. So there's a lot less of that public address work that needs to be done than we originally planned, but we do have some budget there just to do the finalization of the needs. And then I'll let you talk about the fiber.
And then, so for fiber and network, so it's an allocation that we have to take care of some of the technology infrastructure needs, also including a potential camera upgrade. But again, this is a little bit further down the line. Next slide. So, and this is the budget slide. So our intention on the budget slide, if you notice, is to only make really an adjustment once we kind of know what's going on. And so there's a lot of this where you just really don't know until you actually get the work done. And so one thing that we do know is the money for the public address system, we're not going to have to spend $6.5 million on public address because the vast majority of them are done. And so what we've done here is we've reallocated approximately $6 million to roof, HVAC, exterior paint, and path of travel. So we anticipate that we'll end up spending more than $100 million on that number. But notice we're not adjusting any of the other numbers yet because we just don't know. We won't know until we get further along. And so I think the area with the greatest budget risk would be the first two items or the biggest dollar amounts. And so, for example, this summer we're doing both of the high schools, and Redwood are some examples where we know that there will be unforeseen conditions which could kind of blow the budget apart a little bit. So that's why we're allocating the money there. Go ahead.
And then do you just divide the contingencies? Just the contractors have a contingency, we have a contingency, and then we just prioritize that as we go.
Yes.
Yes, and just a little further on that, as we did with Measure H, the contingency, you're exactly right. The contingencies are built within the project, within the construction, within the project, and then within the overall bond program. And that number becomes sort of an over-under. Right. So as we save on certain things, that number might build up, and then as we need it for other projects, it goes down until it gets to zero at the end of the bond program.
And that we open up to questions.
Thank you so much. Comments or questions from trustees? You're allowed. Oh, Trustee Chu.
So there's a lot of things in the school district that goes very slow, but apparently construction is not one of them. So
it's not.
It is not. I know student board member fish leaders saying that the senior class might not see it, and my senior definitely missed out on a lot of things that happen at the middle school, and whatever is going on right now through from Measure A2. But I'm very happy to see how fast the improvements are going forward. I think it's a testament to the effort that our partners and also Mr. Manguala's department is really working very hard on that. And also, of course, thanks to the Napa voters who passed Measure B and allowed us and actually gave us trust to do that. And I think we're showing that to them, that we are making that fast of a progress for their students.
Well, when you consider that today the weather was like it was and all our roofs are still on, I think that's a win.
Yes, that's a huge win.
Thank you. And yes, I feel an enormous sense of responsibility to deliver to the voters. So we're trying to move as fast as possible and do very high quality work. We know that the sooner we get it done, the more work will get done. Construction costs generally only go up. And so again, the sooner we get it done, the more likely that we'll hit all of our goals.
Student Board Member Fish Leader.
And I just want to say I'm excited to see what what happens at Vintage. My question, or I guess like an area of clarification, for the HVAC, is that on the portable classrooms as well, or will that just be on like the main campus with like the main big buildings?
That's a really good question. So both have in different types of HVAC units. And so the big building, generally we don't, is it 5 years old or 8 years old? 8 years old. So if there is a unit that is under 8 years old, it's kind of wasteful to replace it. So we literally have somebody go and examine all the units. And so the major units on the major buildings, if they're older than 8 years old, they all get replaced. The HVAC units on the portables, they vary in age quite a bit. And so what they do is they do a heavy service on them. And then if they need replacement, they replacement. But replacing an HVAC unit on a portable is pretty straightforward. What we've done in the maintenance department is we have a stock of about 20 of them now. And so if they die, they just do a hot replacement. Usually happens in a day or two. So it's really easy. For the BARD units?
Yeah, the trouble with portables is that nothing in the portable is meant to be forever. And NVUSD, just like every other district in California, uses them forever. So generally speaking, you can see portables that have been around since the 90s that may or may not still have that same BARD unit on the back of them. But as Rob mentioned, it's very easy to swap them out. So they're all, the age of the building and the age of the BARD unit may not align.
Other comments or? Well, I just want to say how incredibly grateful we are to the voters of Napa to have approved Measure B and how incredibly gratifying it is and how proud I feel to think about how many students, all of our students and all of our staff are going to be positively impacted by these changes. I can't wait for those internal refresh things because that's really going to have such a high impact on the learning spaces, obviously. So thank you for your, I just wanted to pick up on one thing that you said, Mr. Manguala, which is that nothing in this presentation is going to be a surprise because it's everything that we said from the bond. And I just want to thank you in your partnership and the collaboration here and from your department, the discipline that you recognized was necessary in order to build and earn and maintain that trust with the voters. I think that we know from looking backwards that in Measure H, there were a lot of sort of bitter pills to swallow after that bond was implemented because there was not discipline on the front end talking about what was realistic. And so just to highlight again your first slide, one of the first slides about the facilities master plan versus the implementation. Obviously, our facilities needs are larger than what we're going to be able to accomplish with the funds from Measure B. That will mean that we will need to return to the voters of Napa at some point in the not too distant future to say, now here's our next to-do list on behalf of the students and staff of NVUSD. So thank you for having that strategy and discipline and just integrity and transparency in this whole process, because that's what's going to give the community the faith and trust to continue to pass bonds into the future so that we can continue to cross things off of that facilities master plan list as well.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Is there any public comment on this presentation?
There's no public comment on this item.
Okay, thank you so much. Should we take a break or just go through
Let's take a break.
Okay, we're going to take a 5-minute break from the board before we can conclude with our agenda. Okay, we have returned from our short break and are ready to resume with K action items. We have K1 Business Services, K1A, the Measure B Implementation Plan.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a first from Trustee Chu, a second from Trustee Martin. Mr. Michaels, do we have public comment on this item?
There is no public comment on this item.
Thank you so much. Student Board Member Fish Leader?
Aye.
All in favor? Aye. Oppose? Abstain? Motion passes. K1B, the purchase of Learn platform with Instructure, Inc.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a first from Trustee Chu, a second from Trustee Martin. Mr. Michaels, do we have public comment on this item?
There is no public comment on this item.
Thank you so much. Student Board Member Fish Leader?
Aye.
All in favor? Aye. Oppose? Abstain? Motion passes. K1C, purchase of Donaldson Way network equipment with AMS Net.
Move to approve.
We have a first from Trustee Chu, a second from Trustee Martin. Mr. Michaels, do we have public comment on this item?
There is no public comment on this item.
Thank you so much. Student Board Member Fish Leader?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Motion passes. K2, Human Resources. K2A, 25-26 Human Resources Salary Schedule.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a first from Trustee Chu, a second from Trustee Martin. Mr. Michaels, do we have public comment for this item?
There is no public comment on this item.
Thank you. Student Board Member Fish Leader?
Aye.
All in favor? Aye. Oppose? Abstain? Motion passes. K3, Instructional Services. K3A, Supplementary Instructional Material Adoptions for High School.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a first from Trustee Chu, a second from Trustee Martin. Mr. Michaels, do we have public comment on this item?
There is no public comment on this item.
Thank you. Student Board Member Fish Leader?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Motion passes. K3B, Go Strength and Student Data Privacy Agreement.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a first from Trustee Chu, a second from Trustee Martin. Mr. Michaels, do we have public comment for this item?
There is no public comment on this item.
Thank you. Student Board Member Fish Leader?
Aye.
All in favor? Aye. Oppose? Abstain? Motion passes. K3C, Agreement with Rancho Solano Golf Course.
Move to approve.
Second.
First from Trustee Chu, a second from Trustee Martin. Mr. Michaels, is there public comment on this item?
There is no public comment on this item.
Thank you. Student Board Member Fish Leader?
Aye.
All in favor? Aye. Oppose? Abstain? Motion passes. K3D, Agreement with Summit K-12.
Move to approve.
Second.
First from Trustee Chu, a second from Trustee Martin. Mr. Michaels, do we have public comment for this item?
There is no public comment on this item.
Thank you. Student Board Member Fish Leader?
Aye.
All in favor? Aye. Oppose? Abstain? Motion passes. K3E, Agreement with Lee Imagery LLC and Student Data Sharing Agreement.
Move to approve.
Second.
First from Trustee Chu, a second from Trustee Martin. Mr. Michaels, do we have public comment for this item?
There is no public comment on this item.
Thank you. Student Board Member Fish Leader?
Aye.
All in favor? Aye. Oppose? Abstain? Motion passes. K3F, Student Data Agreement and Order with United States Academic Decathlon.
Move to approve.
Second.
First from Trustee Chu, a second from Trustee Martin. Mr. Michaels, do we have public comment for this item?
There is no public comment on this item.
Thank you. Student Board Member Fish Leader?
Aye.
All in favor? Aye. Oppose? Abstain? Motion passes. K3G, Ratification of Agreement with Fairfield Sassoon Unified School District.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a first from Trustee Chu, a second from Trustee Martin. Mr. Michaels, do we have public comment for this item?
There is no public comment on this item.
Thank you. Student Board Member Fish Leader?
Aye.
All in favor? Aye. Oppose? Abstain? Motion passes. K4, Operational Services. K4A, Purchase of Forklift for Food Service.
Move to approve.
Second.
First from Trustee Chu, a second from Trustee Martin. Mr. Michaels, do we have public comment for this item?
There is no public comment on this item.
Thank you. Student Board Member Fish Leader.
Aye.
All in favor? Aye. Oppose? Abstain? Motion passes. K4B, Agreement with FIT Environmental Services.
Move to approve.
Second.
First from Trustee Chu, a second from Trustee Martin. Mr. Michaels, do we have public comment for this item?
There is no public comment on this item.
Thank you. Student Board Member Fish Leader.
Aye.
All in favor? Aye. Oppose? Abstain? Motion passes. L, Informational. L1, General Services. L1A, the Curriculum and Student Support Committee has not met recently, so no minutes. L1B, the Facilities and Technology Committee, same. There are not minutes attached because they have not met recently. L1C, the Finance Committee, same. There are not minutes attached because they have not met. And L1D, Policy Committee, also no minutes attached there this time. They have not met recently. L2, Business Services. L2A, the Warrant Register for Accounts Payable Checks issued by NVUSD. Mr. Michaels, do we have public comment for that item?
There is no public comment on this item.
Thank you. L2B, the Quarterly Investment Report dated September 30th, 2025. Is there any public comment for this item?
There is no public comment on this item.
Okay, and now we have L2C, the California State Board of Education complies with the Superior Court order regarding Maya Kamas Middle School. Dr. Massetti, did you want to speak to this?
I did. Thank you so much, President Reiser. I just wanted to inform the board and the public that we decided to add this as an informational item. As a reminder, in a previous informational item, we informed the public and the board that the case of Napa Valley Unified School District versus the California State Board of Education, along with the California School Boards Association Education Legal Alliance versus the California State Board of Education, both those cases were finalized at the highest level court in terms of the court proceedings. The judgments are final. Based on the writ of mandate for those court cases, the final one being in the appellate court, since it was not heard by the Supreme Court, it was important for the California State Board of Education to implement the steps required in the writ of mandate, which included the reversal of their original decision to approve the appeal of Maya Kamas Charter Middle School petition, that being what we've been referring to as Maya Kamas Charter School 1. So this item informs the public and the board that the California State Board of Education did vote unanimously at its last meeting on November 5th to reverse their decision to approve the appeal of the Maya Kamas Charter Middle School petition. Again, the action was done to comply with the writs of mandate, and because the appeals in the Maya Kamas Charter Middle School litigation have now concluded and the Superior Court's judgments are final, the State Board of Education took action to comply with the Superior Court writs, which was the final step in this process. So we just wanted to make sure that that was on the public record and known. So thank you so much.
Thank you for that explanation. And did I ask already for public comment? Is there public comment on that item, Mr. Michaels?
There is no public comment on that item.
Thank you. That brings us to L3, the Human Resources. L3A, the Quarterly Report on Williams Uniform Complaint for period ending October 31st, 2025. That is attached. Is there public comment, Mr. Michaels, on that item?
There's no public comment on this item.
Thank you very much. M, additional suggestions and comments from board members and superintendent. I'm not seeing any from the board. Okay. N, future agenda items. Any suggested future agenda items? Okay, and then that brings us to O, adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
We have a first from Trustee Chu, a second from Trustee Martin. I don't think I asked for public comment on this one. All in favor? Aye. Meeting is adjourned.